Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 3 of What If Godlike Naruto was sent to a parallel universe, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends and social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. Yes, that's right, I indeed have 4 channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can reply and welcome you all. And also don't forget to go ahead and turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So the last spot we left off, Harrison wanted Naruto to adopt Nuko, given that their similarities were so close, and not to mention he was one of the only ones that could help her with her training, regarding everything, considering that he was also the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails as well, as Naruto did not know if he was up for such a responsibility. However, he almost forget his nine though. He never gave up, no matter what. And besides, it will be wonderful to have family. So with that, when she arrived, she was told, as she jumped and hugged him, she was so happy. They then went to the academy afterwards, as Naruto handed over the form that Hiruzen gave him. Everyone that cared about Naruto was scrutinizing Naruto to make sure that he was not a threat in her life, especially the Ōtsutsuki Ramen family. They warned him if he hurt her, they would make him pay, as Naruto told him that he would not hurt her in the slightest. So with that said and done, Naruto performed his tests. As Naruto performed all of the tests that Haruka sent his way, as they were pretty easy for him. With that, she took him all around the village, given that the people were much warmer to her now, and it was a good thing that she lived in a rather big place, with 2 bedrooms. However, that night, as Naruto was thinking about the upcoming possibilities, she came inside. She had dreams, many dreams where she had a family, but the next morning when she woke up, it was just a dream. She didn't want this to be a dream, as she slept beside Naruto that night. Waking up the next morning, she was feeling strange feeling towards Naruto. However, that was quickly put to the side as Naruto woke up. It was time for them to go to the academy. It didn't take them too long as they eat some breakfast as they arrived there. Arriving there, Hinata was waiting for her best friend. Hinata was a lot shy in the past, but because of Naruto bringing her out of her shell, she was a completely different person. As she saw her arrive, there were several guys in the class that had crush on Naruto, like a lot. Even Sasuke had a crush on her, but that was kept very private. When Naruto stepped in, they all looked at him. Several of the girls faced in his path, as they asked who he was, as Naruto told them that he was her brother. They were rather surprised by that. When Haruka came in, he announced furthermore, as a team was picked, there was a special for Team 7, as Naruto would be placed on the team. Kiba was upset. Because of his crush on Naruto, he lashed out. Therefore, the test that Naruto did not have, the taijutsu portion, was going to be done today. Kiba believed that Naruto was not that special, so he was going to show that he was a special one. Therefore, the battle commenced outside. Naruto quickly showed him that he stand no chance. However, after the match, Naruto was nice about it, causing Kiba to see that maybe he wasn't such a bad guy. As they became friends, that is when Sasuke scoffed saying that Naruto faced off against Kiba that was not a challenge for him because Kiba was basically weak, as Naruto was rather amused. He would like to fight Sasuke as Sasuke wanted to fight him as well. As Sasuke turned towards Iruka, he wanted to be the one to show everyone that this poser is not as strong as he believed he is, as Naruto was rather amused and told Iruka to please agree to this match, as he would well like to fight Sasuke. In fact, he was itching to fight Sasuke. So yeah guys, basically let's play off. You guys can switch across the play, check it out for yourself. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado, what is so we jump right into this. Begin now guys. Sensei, Sasuke spoke up. I demand that I be put in the test with the blonde dope so I can put him in his place. Amongst the losers, Sasuke Uchiha spoke up to Iruka. Over to the side, Naruto clenched her fists as she gritted her teeth. Every single word that came out of the emo king mouth was always derogatory or a direct insult towards Naruto. Her classmates started to back away from her as a dangerous, dark aura started to surround her. She was very angry at the Raven-hero Uchiha for insulting and belittling her brother, who has proven himself to be a worthy Konoha shinobi. Iruka also did not like what Sasuke was referring to. Sasuke was one of his prized students in terms of academics, however, his attitude and manners were going to get him in big trouble. Someone needed to knock a few inch off his shoulder for him to understand that he can't do whatever he wants to do by himself. Teamwork, friendship. Okay, he said, as he agreed to the match. Sasuke directed his gaze towards the blonde male as Iruka gestured towards the sparring ring. Will Uchiha, Sasuke, and Uzumaki Naruto come forward to the ring, Iruka said. As Sasuke stepped inside, there was a smug, arrogant look all over his face. Confident of an easy victory and to show his Naruto how weak her so-called brother was compared to him. Sasuke was not one that understood his own feelings. He thought that this might make him seem better by beating up her brother. As both Kiba and Nuko told Naruto to kick Sasuke's ass, even Kiba did not like him. As Naruto stepped inside the ring, was Sasuke really this much arrogant? Maybe he had just put that aside for the time being, Naruto thought to himself, while they had reunited and faced off against the worst enemy possible. But yes, he was really arrogant and cocky, and a bit of an asshole. No, not a bit. A lot. Iruka called the match as both boys slipped into their taijutsu stances, neither of them moving. The first Genins did not take their eyes off the spar. After what they see that Naruto could do, they were eager to see if he can actually go up against Sasuke, the greatest fighter. Majority of the fangirls were on Sasuke's side. Yeah, he has this in the bag. The new kid is cute and all, but he doesn't stand a chance. And the other half was rooting for Naruto. As Naruto closed his eyes as he calmed himself, Sasuke thought that was a sheer scope of his winning already. Alright? Begin, Iruka said. Naruto's eyes were still closed as Sasuke closed the distance between them in a matter of few seconds. Sasuke drive his brutal fist forward, however, the only thing that he punched was air. He couldn't get to finish that sentence as a fist buried into his stomach. Sasuke's eyes widened in shock and realization as he looked down to see Naruto's fist in his stomach. As Naruto blue eyes looked into his own, the entire class gawked in surprise. Even Nuko had to suppress a gasp of her own. Although she was the only genin in their graduation class that could take on Sasuke one-on-one in taijutsu, she wasn't as fast as him, and his speed was always a problem, but her brother had just outpaced Sasuke at the very last moment, proving without a doubt which one of them was the best in speed and reflex. Sasuke staggered back towards the starting point as he felt the pain in his stomach as Naruto stood there calmly. The only one that ever landed a hit on the great Sasuke Uchiha was none other than Nuko, that he found to be someone worthy of his time, but none of the others. They were always worthless, too slow, or too weak. To be upstaged by this no-name, clanless orphan who just showed up, it was hitting Sasuke's pride greatly. Rage flared up in his eyes. Anger twisted on his face. He rushed forward and threw a punch, but it was just a diversion. His leg came up. However, Naruto ducked underneath it and pulled back. Sasuke followed up with a bunch of punch and jabs. However, every attack that Sasuke threw were either block or dodge, like they were nothing. Sasuke's anger increased when he saw the blank look on Naruto's face, like he was not taking the spar seriously. But unknown to him, Naruto was conversing with his tenant, while muscle memories and reflex did all the work for him. Hey kid, do you really have to toy with him that much? You will come off as a show-off, Kurama said. However, there was amusement in the fox's voice. I mean, I know he's still a bastard and all that, with a stick up his ass, but even if his ego need to be taken down a peg, aren't you going a bit too far? As Naruto looked up with an embarrassed look on his face, while his body was doing the fighting outside. Well, if you could call it a fight. I don't like the vibe that he was giving off to Naruto-chan, said Naruto. And I can sense emotions because of you. Well, I sense his intentions, which I think you felt as well, Naruto said with a frown as he watched his body. Slug it out with Sasuke, who was getting tired. As Kurama chuckled, oh yeah, I felt it. It sounds to me like you're jealous. What? No, said Naruto. I was just looking out for Naruto-chan. That's it. Oh, you could have fooled me, said Kurama. Can it, Kurama, said Naruto. What would you do if someone looked at your most precious person like they're some trophy to be bought or won, or some meat to be bought? Naruto said angrily. I can't stand it when people look at her like that. As the fox grinned, then by all means, kick his ass. You know I love to see when a Uchiha get taking down a peg or two. Back in the real world, Sasuke cursed in his mind as he panted. He panted heavily. Nothing he did was working. It doesn't matter what. None of his punches, none of his kicks, nothing were getting through. It was like this guy was toying with him, and Sasuke didn't like that one bit. For the past 10 minutes, Sasuke had fought. He had been on the offensive as Naruto had simply defended himself, and Sasuke could not touch him. And the worst thing was, the blonde was still as calm as ever. He was not even winded in the slightest. The graduating class was also stunned in shock, as it seemed like Naruto was just prolonging the fight to tire with Sasuke. They thought, with Sasuke fighting Naruto, the fight would be over in a matter of minutes, but 10 minutes later and yet, Sasuke had not landed a hit on Naruto, as Nuko was confused. From what she's seen, she was sure that her brother could win this match and dominate it rather easily, but from what she's seen so far, it was confusing. Instead, her brother was toying with Sasuke by sidestepping and deflecting his strikes. As from what she's seen so far, her brother was not the kind of person to be toying with someone. Her mind then went back to how Sasuke interacted with her. She was the only girl in the class that Sasuke actively spoke to. He wouldn't even give his fangirls any time of his day. However, she was different. And her brother was a good judge of character. Wait, could it be? It slowly clicked in her mind. A blush appeared in her face. Now she understand her brother's motives were out of jealousy of Sasuke. Wait, then that means her brother was jealous. So that then means... She covered her mouth in shock as she shook her head to clear her thoughts. Those thoughts were insane. It was insane, right? She thought to herself as she focused back on the fight. If it was that insane, why did her heart felt like it was about to explode when she had thought about him actually liking her? Back in the field. Stop stalling, you bastard, Sasuke yelled. Fight me like a true shinobi. A true shinobi. As Naruto laughed in amusement. Sasuke, if I fought you like a true shinobi, you would have probably been dead the moment you charged at me. Sasuke's fury seemed to reach its boiling point. That's it, he said as he pulled a kunai, ignoring Aruka, who told him to stop. I'll kill you, Sasuke said. Rage. Too much rage and his pride taking over. He wasn't thinking straight. In an instant, Naruto was in front of Sasuke. Sasuke thrust the kunai forward as Naruto hooked his arm around Sasuke's arm and spun, causing the Uchiha to cry out in pain as Naruto hit his elbow. Sasuke released the kunai as Naruto palm struck him right in the stomach. Sasuke was blasted towards the ground. Hinata was surprised at that flawless movement. Sasuke was now on the ground. "That's enough, Sasuke," Aruka said, stepping forward. "Stand!" Aruka could not get to finish that sentence as Sasuke started to go through hand signs. The kid's eyes widened as Sasuke took in a breath. "Fire style! Fireball jutsu!" As Sasuke saw the fireball going towards Naruto, he didn't care if he was a fellow shinobi. If he could not even try to dodge an attack like that, then he was weak, and he did not deserve the rank of genin. As Naruto pulled out a scroll and tossed it in the air, before going through hand sign as he held his hand out in the Ram seal. "Fire sealing method," he said. Sasuke was shocked when he saw all the fire diverted towards the scroll, and it was sucked inside. Everyone was shocked by that. As Naruto was shocked, here she thought that her brother was about to be hit by a fireball, but he sucked the fire away. It was just gone. The members are behind Sasuke and Naruto, mostly behind Sasuke so their view. They saw the small chakra threads wrapping around the fireball and sucking it inside, as the flames disappear entirely into the scroll. "Fire sealing method, success," said Naruto, as he rolled up the scroll. The kanji for fire was dead set on it. Aruka was most shocked by that display. Fuinjutsu was not taught in the academy, and yet, incredible, Aruka said, to be able to utilize the sealing arts in a fashion like that in combat. Naruto sure is something else, he thought in amazement. The rest of the class was silent as they tried to understand what just happened a moment ago. Sasuke, because of his view, he didn't understand. "How did you do that?" he said. "I saw you engulfed by my jutsu before. Whatever you did, cancel it out." Asked Naruto, chuckling in amusement. "How naive of you, Sasuke Uchiha. You think a low-ranked jutsu like that could kill me? All I had to do was to seal away your fireball with a simple application of Fuinjutsu. A pretty handy branch of shinobi arts, if I do say so myself." As Naruto's face turned completely serious. "And I will overlook this supposed attempt on my life, Uchiha-san, and not report you to the Hokage to have your license being revoked. But I assure you, the next time you try something like this," as Naruto's gaze turned dark, cold, "I'll kill you." Naruto's words seemed to shake Sasuke. Even out of character for him, he nodded as sweat poured down his face. Just the look in his eyes scared Sasuke senseless. For some reason that Sasuke couldn't comprehend, he believed that the blonde in front of him would kill him rather easily if he so desired. As Sasuke was fearful of that. "Now, shall we continue our friendly spar?" said Naruto. Sasuke was snapped out of his thoughts as he remembered that they were still in a spar. This time Naruto was the one that went on the offensive and appeared in front of Sasuke. 3 punches, that was all it took. Sasuke was blasted out of the ring as he collapsed, as he held his stomach and shoulder in pain. "Oh, winner," Aruka said, finally snapping out of his own thoughts on Naruto using Fuinjutsu in battle. "Naruto Uzumaki." Stunned silence ensued before all the genins that rooted for Naruto to win let out laughter towards the others that were on Sasuke's side, as Ino and Sakura cursed against each other on who should help Sasuke up, but he got up by himself. Aruka made his way over towards Sasuke. Once he was there, he whacked Sasuke, shocking everyone there. Aruka was not pleased. That was for breaking one of the rules of the fundamental spar: no elemental ninjutsu or weapons. If Naruto was hurt or killed by you in this spar, you would have had your shinobi license revoked, and I would have suggested Hokage-sama to expel you from the shinobi program. You need to get your anger under check. This is one of your comrades now. You should not be trying to kill your comrades. You'll be taking future missions with him, and in the outside world, the enemy will use your own anger against you. So keep your anger in check, Aruka said. Sasuke clenched his fists, but he did not say anything. Given the fact that Naruto was not hurt, and decided not to press any charges against Sasuke, he was free to go. After Iruka had added up all Naruto's scores in the exam, Naruto had scored on the same level of Itachi Uchiha and Kakashi Hatake. Those two names were legendary in Konoha, especially within the academy. Both of them had graduated exceptionally early, and they had set records. Naruto's scores had been phenomenal. He did not miss not even a single throw-in in his practice, and his test was, yes, 100% passable. So yes, Naruto's name was up there with the big leagues. Sasuke clenched his fist when he heard that, rage boiling over. So now Naruto was an official Genin of Konoha. Before Naruto could say anything, Naruto jumped on top of him in a big tight hug. She was afraid when she saw the fireball. Because of the line of sight that she was in, she thought he got enveloped. As Naruto patted her on the back and told her that he was fine. He told her that everything was fine, as he apologized for putting himself in harm's way to show off his full jutsu. However, he promised her that he will never do something like that ever again. She made him promise that he would never leave her. Despite the both of them living in a ninja world, Naruto promised. Yes, he promised her that he would never leave her. And that's a promise of a lifetime. As he hugged her back tightly. Time skip. All the kids were now settled down in class, as there were several men and women outside. Alright class, Iruka said. Your Jonin senseis are now here to pick you up. Good luck to all of you, he said, as he left the class. As Naruto was sitting down beside her brother, her hand holding on to his shirt. It was like a dead grip. As Naruto chuckled in amusement because of that. As Naruto knew that if most, not all of them would pass the second exam. After all, he's been through this already. As he saw the kids being let out one by one, a sigh then reached him as he realized that their sensei will not be here for some time. Naruto glanced up towards Sasuke, who had been sitting by himself. Well, he tried to, but Sakura had been there, trying to get a response from him, trying to get a date. As Naruto had forgotten how rather obsessed Sakura was and how annoying she was. She got better after he came back from his training trip with Jiraiya. But before that, she was awful. However, he remembered what Kami said. He should not alter much, and he's already altered so much already. Sakura potential was there, and it would come out soon. So he shouldn't be messing with that. Team 8, Kiba, Hinata, and Shino. Kurna UI says she stepped into the room, as Naruto looked at the woman. As Hinata came over and said goodbye to Nuko, and Naruto as well, before she made her way off. Kiba saying later as well, as they left. Shino being his usual stoic self. Team 10, as the Jonin came in smoking, none other than Asuma Saratobi, as he called for Shikamaru Choji and Ino. With that, they made their way. Members served Naruto correct, yes, they still had another 3 hours to wait. As Naruto perked up as he smiled at his sister, making her perked up looking back up at him. Say, it's almost lunchtime now, Naruto-chan, said Naruto. Why don't we go to Ichiwaka Ramen? As she perked up completely at the mention of her favorite dish in the world. Less than a heartbeat later, she was pulling her brother out the door, faster than he even could say goodbye. Iruka had came back with some papers that he was signing off. As he did not seem bothered by their action, as Sakura asked, "Where are they going? Aren't we supposed to wait on our new sensei?" Well, it seems they got it right, Iruka said. You see, your new sensei is kind of... well, he has a reputation for being late. What? Is it really that bad? Sakura asked. Well, Iruka said, knowing of Kakashi and, well, his reputation. As Sasuke got up. Sasuke, Sakura said, would you like to? He turned his gaze away from her. As she lowered her head, he simply walked away. As she sighed at her crush blowing her off once again. Now she wished that she had a brother as cool as Naruto's, who wouldn't blow her off. Time skip. As Naruto was eating his ramen, he was in deep thought about his mission. He knew that he had to tell Nuko about everything soon, her parents, and frankly, he was very anxious and nervous about it. Not even facing Kaguya or Madara during the war made him feel so unnerving. The mere thought of her reaction, it kind of scared him badly. And what she would think after he told her the truth about himself. Personal feelings and dilemma aside, there was the fact that should he reveal everything about his abilities during the test that was coming. After mental thinking, Naruto realized that it might be good to not reveal everything to them just yet. Yes, he will reveal it to them soon enough, but not right now. However, it would be different with Kakashi Sensei. Big brother, I'm finished. As Naruto turned his attention towards her, he couldn't get enough of her calling him that. As he looked at the 5 stacked bowls in front of her, compared to his 4, his pride of being a ramen lover took a hit. She asked him if everything was okay, because he seemed a bit down, as he told her that it was fine. However, she was a bit suspicious, but something seemed to be on his mind, as something was on her mind as well. Due to clans such as the Hyuga and the Uchiha clan, they want to keep their lineage pure, so marriage within the clan between family members such as cousins were not considered against the clan rules, and they were not considered impure. However, those outside of the ninja clans would see them as such and frown upon the action. But most clans would like to keep their bloodline pure. That is why members inside of the clan, being related by third or second cousin, sometimes get married. As Naruto realized that she liked him, and that was more than a brother. She saw the way the girls of the class acted over Sasuke and she knew that they liked him, but she never acted that way over any boy, not even Kiba who liked her either. But Naruto was different, she didn't know what it was. Up to this point she had not known the full truth about anything, but she believed that he would tell her when the time was right, as the both of them head out of the establishment. As they were making their way, as she hugged onto his right arm, she was trying to get him to notice her, more than, well, what he thought of her. But Naruto's mind was locked in deep thought. "Naruto-chan," he said, "I need to tell you something." She looked up as she saw the seriousness over his face. She knew that something was wrong. "Alright, big brother," she said. "What is it?" "Not here," said Naruto, as he took her towards his favorite spot, and that was on top of the Hokage monument. The both of them were there in an instant. "You really need to teach me how you did that," she said. "Sure," said Naruto. "It's a family heirloom after all." "It is?" "Yeah, I'll talk about it later. For now, come, sit down," said Naruto. As she sat beside him, she leaned against him. "So, what do you want to tell me?" "I know it's something bad. I can tell that that smile on your face is fake." "What?" said Naruto. "I can tell," she said. "I've seen enough fake smiles in my life before to know that the one that you're wearing right now is fake." As Naruto's smile dropped off his face, "I'm sorry," he said. "I was not entirely truthful with you about my past. And it's about time I told you the truth." As he took a breath, "I am not exactly related to you." "What?" she said. "Well, in some ways we are family, but I am not from this reality. So you can say that we're siblings, but not from this reality," said Naruto. "I know it's confusing." She paused in shock as she looked at him, not saying a word. Knowing that this was a very big secret, Naruto went through hand sign. "Uzumaki sealing arts. Silence and seal." As a large area was encompassed in the silence and seal, blocking out any eavesdroppers from outside. The translucent dome, blocking anyone from hearing anything. She looked around. "What? How did you—" "I'll explain everything to you," said Naruto. "Then you can decide whether you hate me or not, okay?" he said to her. She was about to shout at him. How could he say that? She would never hate him, but he raised a hand, as he wished to explain first. So for the next half an hour, Naruto told her everything, from his childhood to his status as a Jinjulke, from where he was from originally. The fourth great shinobi war, him dying and meeting Kami. Passing on. He had paused a few times as she simply remained silent. As Naruto looked at her, feeling like she was getting angrier and angrier the second passed. But his gaze stayed on the ground mostly as he spoke. Once the 30 minutes were up as he told her everything, the both of them were left in complete silence. Not a word was spoken between them. Naruto was deeply worried, terrified to be exact. Having just arrived here, he has grown so attached to her. But if she was to push him away, he just couldn't. The thought of losing her, it was mind-boggling. As he was wallowing in his own uncertainty, her mind was racing. The information was a lot to take in. To be told by one of the people that she was now the closest to, that he shared the same blood, but from another dimension, where they had the same parents, which was just confusing by itself. And now to find out that he was sent here by a deity that she only thought exists in books. If it was anyone other than him, she would have told him off and called them insane. But the way he said it without a sense of deceit or doubt, she believed him. As she looked up and she saw the look on his face, he was worried. What she would think of him now. The downcast expression on his face being enough for her to see. Ever since meeting him, he had been someone that she could count on, because he was stronger both mentally and physically. Seeing him like this, so vulnerable and so weak, it was breaking her heart. As tears fell down her cheeks as she watched his expression fall deeper and deeper into despair, she made her move even before her mind and made the decision. As she wrapped her arms around him in a tight hug, as she held on to him. She held on to him for dear life, his arms coming up, and wrapped around her, as he realized that she was crying on his shoulder. "Don't, big brother," she said. "Despite what you think, and I know what you're thinking right now, I could never hate you. You mean too much to me," she said, as she held on to him. Naruto was stunned. He was just stunned, as he stood where he was. She sniffled, as she held on to him, inhaling his calming scent. "Even though I only met you yesterday, the time I've spent with you was some of the most happiest moments of my life," she admitted, as Naruto's inner loathing died away. "You gave me friendship, you gave me hope, you gave me family, and above all else," she then pulled back as she looked directly into his eyes. "You gave me love," she said. "Love that I've always dreamed about, but I never actually thought that I would ever experience it." A few tears slipped down Naruto's cheeks hearing that as he looked at her. A true happy smile appeared on his face, one that he only showed to the people that mean the most to him. It felt like a mountain had been dropped off his shoulders, and now he felt more relief, as the both of them smiled at one another. As she realized that she was basically snuggled into him, despite their faces being so close, she blushed, making him blush as well as they pulled back. As Naruto then got serious, "How much do you know about the Kyuubi?" he asked. She tensed up as she heard that, her eyes widening. The fourth Hokage defeated and killed the Kyuubi, at the cost of his own life, almost 13 years ago to protect the village. However, she said, tail beasts are a construct of chakra and they cannot be killed by human. So the fourth Hokage made the ultimate sacrifice, while sealing the tail beast inside of a baby, which was me. The third had told her some time ago, and now she had understood the undisguised hatred that Mizuki had for her, and the people action in the past. It brought back so many bad memories. He pulled her in a tight embrace as he held on to her. "I know," said Naruto, as he held on to her. "I was the same as you, remember?" As Naruto wiped away her tears. "However, contrary to popular belief, the Kyuubi is quite misunderstood," said Naruto. She shot up like a bullet, her face showing shock and confusion and anger. "He can't be serious, right?" she thought in anger and confusion, trying to understand where her brother was coming from. How could the demon be misunderstood when it killed innocents without a care in the world years ago? She was about to open her mouth to speak until Naruto placed his palm on her stomach. She was confused until she felt him pulse his chakra. and everything went black. Nuko blinked as she opened her eyes. She was expecting to see the hospital ceiling or Naruto's sleeping face beside her as she woke up, wondering how she fell asleep in the first place. Realization then hit her, as she now found herself not on the monument but in deep waters that reached up to her ankle. She was confused as she snapped her head around, trying to find out where she was, until her mind connected the dots, as she gasped when she looked up to see a gigantic gate with a kanji mark of a paper in the center that said seal. It did not take a genius to know that this was a domain of her consciousness, and she had a very good idea what was behind that bars. She whimpered slightly as she slowly backed away in fear, before a single, slitted, red eye opened up, glowing ominously in the tunnel. Her body froze up as her eyes were drawn towards that single orb looking at her, and she could not look away. A deep rumbling chuckle came around, as she stood there in fear. "So, you finally came to visit me at last," a booming voice said, shaking her to her very core. Never she felt so terrified since the villagers had tried to chase her that last time. However, she was still under the protection of her caretaker and the Hokage protection as well. But now she was alone. Who are you?" she said, despite already knowing what was behind that bars. As another eye opened up, both of them staring directly at her, it felt like they were staring into her soul. "Who am I, you ask?" The beast asked with amusement in its voice. The water on her feet shifted, as it felt something getting closer. "I have gone by many names for the past millennia, but most humans will know me by my title, the Kyuubi." The being then revealed itself, as she was able to see the massive towering beast, 9 powerful tails switching behind it. She fell over on her butt, her eyes widened in fright. She was scared. She was downright terrified. She never thought that she would actually meet the beast face to face like this. She heard the rumors, but nothing could ever prepare her for this, until she remembered the life that the beast took. And she thought about her caretaker as well, who was always there. Slowly picking herself up, her gaze turned into a glare. The fox shook its head in amusement. Such a weak container was sealed inside of. It's degrading, actually. How were you supposed to show the world the might of you being my container when you're such a weakling, huh? The fox said with a cruel smirk on its lips. It was almost like it was mocking her. That is when the fox sensed killer intent. While it did not bother him in the slightest, he was surprised that the girl was actually standing up to him. It brought a smirk to his face. "Now listen here, you damn fox. I don't care what you think of me, or anyone else for that matter." Her hair stand up as it started to wave in the air. "But know this, I will never forgive you for attacking the village, and for killing the citizens, and robbing it of its Hokage. If you ever yap about this, or try to goad me into breaking the seal, I'll make you pay. Believe it," she yelled, as she expected the fox to get angry, or yell back until the fox's face split into a grin, as it started to laugh. However, this laughter, while it was not malicious, it still looked scary. "What's so funny?" she said to the fox, as it just kept on laughing. It finally calmed down, as she heard the sound of clapping. She turned, as Naruto appeared. "Not bad, Naruto-chan. You're far more gutsy and cunning than you claim to be," said Naruto. She was confused. How did he even get here in the first place? "Naruto-kun," she said. "What's going on?" "Sorry, Naruto-chan. I kinda, wanted to test to see your resolve myself." Wait. So all of this, the trash talk, it was a test? As Naruto nodded. But still, it would have worked out better if Fuzzball here would cooperate and try, for once, not to intimidate everyone that meets him for the first time. The fox scoffed. "It's a waste of my chance to not see them squirm when they first see my true form." Yeah. You love to scare the crap out of people, I get it," said Naruto. "Now it's time to remove that damn paper." "Wait!" She held onto his arm. How do we know that this is not just a trick? And by the way, how did you get in here? This is my mindscape, right? And why are you so friendly with him if you only met him once? Just what is going on? As Naruto sighed, he had hoped to break it to her gently, but seeing is believing, they say. As Naruto stepped forward, before she could register what happened, he went through hand sign, Uzumaki Funjutsu, memory viewing technique, as he touched his hand to her temple. As she saw it, his memories. It started with his childhood, when he was ignored and shunned by the rest of the villagers. His first genuine test and his 3 failures because he could not do the clone jutsu. The night where he stole the forbidden scroll of sealing, and Mizuki harsh pounding by his hands for protecting Haruka. His first genuine team and the mission they went on first. The death of the 3rd Hokage. The retrieval of Tsunade. The fight between him and Sasuke. The 3 years with Jiraiya out of the village. His encounter with the Akatsuki. The pain assault. The Kage summit. Kurama redemption and his vow to protect Naruto. The 4th Great Shinobi War in Madara. Revival of the Jubi. Kaguya resurrection. And him and Sasuke and their last stand. As Naruto blinked, she stepped back as she cradled her head, trying to process all of that information. From what she could tell, he had been through hell and back. He faced hardship that would have broken normal people. And now his mission to destroy Ōtsutsuki Kaguya, the rabbit goddess. No one deserved a life like that, especially a precious person who only wanted her to be happy. She had lost count the number of times that she had cried today, both in the real world and in here. But she did not care in the slightest as she cried once more, in sadness and sorrow. Not for her though, but for Naruto. What he had to go through. His comrades, his people, his friend. Everyone being trapped in that unbreakable genjutsu. The guilt that he carried for not being able to save them. She could tell that part of him had been broken. She threw herself towards him once again, hoping her hug could convey how she felt, as she hugged him tightly. Kurama simply watched the scene down below him. "I'm so sorry," she said. "There's nothing to forgive, Naruto-chan," said Naruto. "Besides, I have you now," said Naruto. "And Kurama has always been here, so I won't be alone anymore. Especially in my younger years," said Naruto to her. She looked up. "Yes," she said as she placed a hand to her heart. "I'll be the greatest sister to you ever." "And that means you too, Fuzzball," she said as she looked up. "You took care of him like your own brother. So I guess we're family now as well." Kurama ignored the Fuzzball comment, as he simply smiled down at a small child. "There are some things I left out when I show you my memories," said Naruto, "because I did not want to tip off to that plant bastard that anything has changed. Me being here is already something big. However, seeing that you're the only person besides Hokage Jiji in this dimension I can fully trust, I'll tell you now. It's about your parents." Her eyes widened in shock. Something that she always wanted to know. The revelation. When she heard that they had the same parents, she was about to ask, but he was so caught up in everything, so. Some time ago, the thought that her parents had ran away, because she was a demon as well. It had been with her. And the thought was terrifying that she was alone because her parents did not want her. As Naruto squeezed her hand gently. "Don't worry, Naruto-chan," he said. "Our parents loved us very much, in fact. Do you want to see them now?" How's that possible?" she said. Instead of answering, Naruto simply looked up towards the seal. As he pulled up his sleeve and went through several hand signs, she saw a complex seal appear from his hand, going straight to his bicep, as markings light all over his body. Once he was finished, she floated up towards the cage, where he tore the seal off. All 5 of his fingers then started to glow with the elements. This was the 4th Hokage Master Key to the most powerful seal in the world, the 8 tetragram sealing. As Naruto slammed his hand on the spiral-shaped lock, 8 tetragram seal, "Release," he said. As the thing started to spiral open before, the gates fly open, releasing the gigantic Bichu from his confinement. Well, only temporary confinement, while Naruto was in her mindscape, but it was all the same. Kurama arches back as he twists and turns, as he stretches. "Thanks for that, kid," he said. "I had forgot how terrible that really was." As Naruto laughed at that, making Naruto giggle as well. However, they all felt it as they turned at the same time to see a man appearing out of nowhere. He looked to be a carbon copy of Naruto, especially since Naruto no longer had the whisker marks. Minato Namikaze was confused. The whole thing was rather complex. Because of Naruto being inside her mindscape, the fox had taken only one consciousness, that is why. The Kurama in here knew Naruto very well. And he was also Naruto Kurama as well. There were two sources of power, but they were both connected as well. It was just the balance of the world order. Yes, it was strange. It will be explained later though in more fine detail. Said man to the side was confused. What's going on? Why is the Kyuubi free? How was I not able to appear to stop it in time? The man said, confused and surprised, not understanding what was going on. As for Nuko, she stood there, her eyes widened. Tears once again well up in her eyes, and she couldn't believe it. As Naruto nudged her, remember what I told you about our parents? Well, he's one of them. Let me introduce you to your idol. And slash our father, Minato Namikaze, the yellow flash of the leaf. Her eyes widened even more, which seemed impossible. She was silent. I know, said Naruto. But it's true. It's him. Said man, looked over towards the two. As Minato looked down towards the two children. As Minato looked them over, especially Naruto, his eyes widened as he seemed to understand something. His mind worked fast. However, as much as he would like to get into the topic of the boy that looked so much like him, his gaze was on his daughter that clung to the boy jacket. She seemed shy and afraid, not knowing how to even approach her father. Minato's heart was breaking little by little as he saw her crying. He had promised himself years ago to always be there for his baby girl. When he found out that she was going to be a girl, he was so happy. He would be there for her. He would not abandon her like how his father did for him, but yet, in the end he had to make the ultimate sacrifice. And he was never there to raise her. Something that tore him up on the inside. As he reached his hand out, the way the boy looked at him, Minato thought that he was going to stop him or something, but he did not. He patted her on the head gently. Naruto-chan, said Minato. I'm so sorry, he said. I'm sorry that I could not be there for you all these years. I'm sorry your mother couldn't be there too. It's all my fault, he said to her, as he dropped down to one knee. Now the both of them were on the same level. But please understand that we both loved you so much. I was so ecstatic when I learned I was going to be a father. I ran around the house, shouting that I was going to be a father, he said, as his voice cracked with every word. He had glanced towards the boy, but he only saw compassion and understanding. As Naruto pulled herself away, out of Naruto's jacket, looking at this man, no, her father, in front of her. Naruto-chan, said Minato. My baby girl, I know that my words alone cannot make you forgive my actions. My precious little girl, again, I'm so sorry for everything I put you through. All I wanted was to protect you and your mother. That was all I asked for. When I found out that your mother was pregnant with you, we're both sorry that we weren't there to watch you grow, he said. To watch you say your first words. To help you as you make your first step. As he lowered his head in shame. Please, forgive me, he said. As Naruto looked at the man, he could understand how she was feeling the first time he met his father. He punched him in the gut, in anger. As Minato, paternal instinct had washed over the Hokage robe and everything else, leaving the man as a father that was broken in sadness. He had seen it through her memories. As the villagers did not respect his final wish, it made him angry at himself and the village. The village council, to be precise, the three elders, Danzo, Homura, and Koharu. As Naruto remained silent, a part of her wanted to be angry. A part of her wanted to forgive him. As she wiped away her tears, as she stepped forward, as Minato felt a hug, a tight hug enveloped him. His daughter was hugging him, despite everything that he did, despite him failing to be there. as she started to speak softly. I want to hate you, she said. I really do. I want to hate you so badly for what I went through in my younger years. But I can see in your eyes that every single word that you said, you meant it. So, I forgive you, father, she said. That did it. Even Minato couldn't hold it anymore as tears started to run down his face as he hugged his daughter tightly, holding on to her, trying to shield her and protect her from everything else, even though he was not truly, well, himself. As he just hugged onto her, as Naruto and Kurama stood there watching the scene. As Naruto figured that he was doing the right thing here, however, it would change things, but it doesn't matter, right? Seeing her this happy, watching as she reunited with her father, it made everything feel better. Yes, a whole lot better. As Naruto looked towards her with a warm, calm smile. But guys, be end so right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share this with all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episodes on the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So go ahead, check them out and enjoy. So without further ado, wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode begin? Now guys, what am I saying? Let's get the hell out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.